So in my examples, I had a link to a thing called the Flash Kit, and that's where you can go to use some Adobe resources that'll help you uh, code to detect whether the browser has the Flash plugin or not. Now, that FlashKit is getting pretty old now, even though it's still being referenced by a lot of resources now. Just it's 2010 right now, and just recently I've seen it referenced in several spots on the web, partly because of the iPad, iPhone issue. So there are people still using that. However, really the easiest way to do this is to go ahead and just go on up to your Flash Publish settings and choose HTML. And in the HTML tab, you select Detect Flash Version. And I'm going to test something. If we go to Flash and we tell it we want to do it Flash version 8 and we go to HTML, then yes, it will go ahead and detect an earlier version. However, usually when we're doing ActionScript, we want to have the most recent version. And these Flash players refer to the plugin that works with the browser. So it's detecting what version of the plugin we have. And if you did click that, then it'll write the JavaScript code for you and so forth to detect the appropriate version on the browser. Come down here and hit OK. And now I'm going to go ahead and publish. Okay, now to really work with this, I'm going to go into the actual code. So I bring up my file, and I have an image that I made and a secondary page. So these two, this page and this image will work together if it does not have the Flash plugin. Okay, here's my index page. That's the page that has the Flash plugin. This is the SWF file, and I think that's an older page actually. So I'll come over here. Oh no, that's a more recent one. Excuse me, because I just republished it in this example. But I won't be needing that actually. Put that off to the side. All right, so this is the page. I called it index so it would work with my server. And now what I do is I go ahead and drop that into my Dreamweaver file. And what I want to show you is where I modified the code. So I come in here and you go inside to the JavaScript code, and you might have to look around for a while here within your JavaScript code to find this. But essentially there's a spot here, and in my file it's going to be around page line 326 towards the end of the script code, and actually it's right by this text, which makes it convenient to find. This text here is written so that if someone does not have JavaScript installed, then it'll show them this text. And if someone does not have the Flash plugin installed, it'll just go to another page. So what you can do if you have access to Dreamweaver and you can't find this, okay, come on up here, highlight the text, and it will highlight that text for you in your code view. So you just come back here, and there it is, my code view. And now I come up here, and there's this area here. Now, when you first publish, it won't look like this. There'll be some more code here. But it's right here. It's in this else statement, because you either have the Flash player or you don't. And if you don't, then you want to use this code right here, window.location, and that will load in a new page for you. So go window.location, and you're just telling the browser, this is a lot like Flash ActionScript, except for we're referring to an HTML object, not HTML object, we're referring to a JavaScript object and the property, and you just tell it what page to go to. And so it could be any page. It could be my non-flash page.html, or it could be page2.html, or you could send someone to Adobe to get Flash, or what have you. So you could send them to Bing or Google or any of that. Okay, but on mine, I said page2.html. All right, and put quotes around that title. And that's all there is to it for that code. You just sending them to a new spot, and that's where the magic happens. Now, there is one downside, is that when you use this, a person can't really use their back button, and that's not a great workaround, but it's pretty good for government work. Otherwise, some other ways you might have to use a cookie is one suggestion, and actually the Flash Kit has some ideas for that. So I'd go ahead and get this out of here, and let's go see what this looks like in a page that has Flash. So I'm going to go way over here. There we go. And in a page that has Flash, it will show you the Flash. Okay, right click, Flash. Now, what you can always do is you can turn Flash off on any browser. So most browsers have a preference setting. There's some different spots depending on your browser, but they all should have a preference setting. And you come in here, content settings. The Chrome is a little bit different. So we have this setting for JavaScript, so you can see what happens if you turn off your JavaScript and refresh this page. And it says provide alternate content for browsers that do not support JavaScript. Okay, so that's one setting. Okay, let's come up here to the preferences. Go under the hood, content settings. I'm going to turn JavaScript back on. I'll turn my plugin off. All right. And with whatever your browser you're using, you'll just have to look around up there and find out where the preferences are. So here's the setting for this is my HTML page. That's me testing it on an iPhone, and this does in fact work on my iPhone. So that's all there is to it. I'm going to make sure I turn this back on so I can see my plugins. And there you go. Perfect.